September Friday night live stream, which is a little later in the month than planned. September has ended up being pretty hectic for me. I would normally start by telling you what my plans are for videos for the month, but since there's only like 3 more upload days, it's a little pointless. It's going to be 2 food videos and a monthly vlog. I will try to do a live stream in October, but I'm not 100% sure if I'll actually manage it or not, because that is also going to be another busy month. But I'm hoping to have some vlogs coming up that you guys will really enjoy. So yeah, D&D takes up a lot of time, especially when you run a game in person, because you have to paint the minis, and I do enjoy doing it, but it's very time consuming, and sometimes I've got a lot that I need to get painted for a session. So anyway, I'm not here to talk about D&D unless that is what you guys would like me to talk about. As ever, I will just waffle on aimlessly about whatever pops into my little brain, unless you guys interrupt with questions. If it's your first time here, you can just lurk, that's fine, but feel free to join in and chat as well. I was reading out the messages from people. I now know that you can, with your live streams, do a live chat replay. So I might try just doing that, and then you guys, if you're watching this, replay rather than live. If anything I say doesn't make sense, you can just open that up and you'll understand, hopefully, what I'm talking about. But of course, with me, you know, you never really know. So yes, this is the room from which I run D&D games. You're actually sitting right next to my computer at the moment. But yeah, that is where I do my 2 online D&D games. And yeah, I hope the computer is not, you can't hear it, because when I came in, I nudged it and woke it up and didn't have time to get it shut down. So if it is making a noise, I apologise. Yeah, and you may hear some banging and drilling. I don't know what's going on, but about an hour ago, I don't know if it's from the flat above me or the flat below, but somebody is doing something that involves hammering and drilling. It seems to have stopped, but it might start up again. If it does, I'm so sorry. Unless it gets so bad that I have to end the live stream, I will keep going, but hopefully whatever it is that's being done has been done. God, I don't know what else to say now. I feel like I've been talking non-stop. Hi Eddie, hope you are having a good evening. It's actually really warm here in Scotland for once. It seems summer has decided to turn up at long last for a few days, but the last 2 days have been absolutely stunning, with lots of sunshine and blue skies, and that's the weather you want to see Scotland at its best. But today it's been overcast and grey, but still really, really warm, which I'm not a fan of. Don't mind the heat if there's sun, but if there's no sun, what's the point in it being really, really hot? But there we go. I guess that's global warming. One thing I do want to mention, today on Amazon Prime, I watched a film called Weird, the Al Yankovic story. If you know who Weird Al Yankovic is and you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It is, as you might expect with him, a parody, but very cleverly written and very funny. And if you don't know who Weird Al Yankovic is, just search on YouTube, but not now, wait until after my stream. Search on YouTube for Amish Paradise. And yeah, that's probably my favourite song that he's done. And it's probably his most well-known one. So yeah, I guess that's my movie recommendation for the month. Can't give you a book recommendation. I'm ashamed to say, haven't actually read a book this year. Yeah, I used to read all the time. And I just haven't read, but I don't have the time for it at the moment. Just thinking about future video plans and things, I was really hoping to do a third year of my Death Row Dinners series for Halloween, which is 7 nights where I do a true crime account of a serial killer, or not necessarily a serial killer, someone who's been executed on death row. So I basically tell you the story of how they got there and eat the meal that they requested. But I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it this year. Even though I really like listening to true crime, I don't think I could do it myself, because having to go in depth into these things, it's quite hard. And I can't do them one after the other. I usually have to have at least a week off from that kind of subject matter. And normally I would have started doing the scripts by now, and I think I've written a paragraph for the very first one. So I might be able to get a single Death Row Dinner video out rather than a series, but I honestly don't know. I may not manage it, but I guess it's not I can't talk. It's not a true crime channel at the end of the day. It is a food channel. So I guess, people aren't going to come here specifically for that, but it was just something a bit different to do at Halloween. I will, of course, be doing a new in Halloween food. Haven't begun filming that yet, but I have started collecting things for it. So yeah, that will be coming up. But if there's anything you guys would like to see me do, then please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram or drop a comment in the box below or on any of my videos. I do have a list of ideas myself, but I'm always happy to take suggestions, as long as they're sensible ones. I'm not going to do a 10,000 calorie challenge. I did a 20,000 calorie challenge, and that was very stupid because I did it with ice cream, and yeah, won't be doing that again. What I eat in a day videos, jury is out on that, because I'm aware that quite a lot of people who watch these channels may have issues with food themselves, and I'm not sure how helpful it is to do videos like that, but at the same time I know some people are interested in that kind of thing. So yeah, I guess I'll be guided very much by what you guys would like to see, since you are the ones I'm doing this for. Well, you and me, because I do enjoy it. If I ever stop enjoying it, that is when I will stop. So I've got YouTube on my phone here just because if people type messages, they do pop up on the screen, but if somebody else types something, or they if someone else types something, or after a little while the message will disappear and I can end up missing stuff. So this is just a way to ensure that I don't. So if you see me looking down, that is what I'm looking at on my phone, which hopefully I'm not going to drop on the floor, because it would be very hard to pick it up. This is also my room of requirement. So as well as being a computer room, it is a library, a spare room, a crochet storage room. Yeah, and the boiler is also in this room. But I am getting on with organising it and with sorting stuff out, and spent quite a bit of time today as well looking out clothes to post on Vinted, because they don't fit me anymore. So why hold on to them? Because I am not going to fit into them again. That would not be a good idea. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. I don't think there's really anything interesting to tell you guys. Eddie says, I'm doing it again, I'm reading it out automatically. What's the best death row meal you've tried, and who did it belong to? I mean, they've all been quite different. I'll be honest, I can't remember exactly what each person's last meal was. I would have to look it up. but that's because it's the cases that I remember rather than the meals. But some of the meals people have are crazy, and I just couldn't do it because I couldn't eat that amount of food. But yeah, it's quite jarring when I'm looking and I see that there are people's names that have been added since last year because they have been executed in that time. I don't know how I feel about that. And I guess living in Britain, it's not something that I need to worry about just now. But yeah, it's tricky because very sadly, not everyone on death row is guilty. I do find the older cases as well, there tend to be more potential miscarriages of justice and mistakes made. But I know mistakes get made today as well. But yeah, some of them show just how much prejudice and things there can be. But it is interesting, I guess. Yeah, it's a tough one. When I say that I like listening to true crime as well, it's not because it's entertainment. I'm sure I've said before, I like to kind of get into the psychology and behind what makes these people do what they do. And I like to know mistakes that were made and ways we can learn from them. So yeah, that's the reasons. And I always hope I might be able to help with something, although to be fair, most of the cases are either old, in a country I've never been to, or, yeah, as far as I know, I have never witnessed a crime. I might be wrong, but yeah, I've never witnessed one. And I really hope that I never do. So, yeah. Sorry, my throat is a bit dry. I think it's the heat. And I did bring a drink in with me tonight. So you are going to have to just put up with this, hopefully. It won't be too annoying, but this could end up being a shorter live stream than normal because I am stupidly tired. Yeah, it's just been a really busy week, and I'm just really tired. And I can't really sleep during the day unless I'm feeling ill, so no rest for the wicked, as they say. But hopefully I'm not going to end up yawning at you during this live stream. And I'm going to have to start thinking about Christmas content soon, aren't I? Because the shops are full of Christmas stuff, and it's getting harder because the first year I did YouTube, everything was new to me, but each year they tend to bring out maybe a few new items, but a lot are repeats. I follow quite a few new food accounts on Instagram, and I see them posting things that are new, but they were out for Christmas last year. But, I guess they're new again. But I prefer to get stuff that is actually new and hasn't been out before, because otherwise it's going to get boring for me as well as you guys, especially if it's things that I've had that I haven't been that crazy about. And I've done quite a lot in my Christmas videos because I normally do kind of a 12 days of Christmas, but I do the videos over usually about 4 weeks, and just have more uploads in a week, because I think 12 videos in a row from me, I think it would be asking a bit much to expect anybody to watch that much content, and I'm not sure what I would do if I was doing 12 days in a row. I won't be doing a vlogmas as such because I really don't think my life is interesting enough, and I don't do a different Christmassy thing every day, so it would be very mundane and not that entertaining. But all the new foods and stuff I'd like to do, and maybe a few 24 hours eating videos, because I haven't done one of those for a long time, mostly because I just haven't had time. I'm busy a lot of evenings, and that can make it tricky. But yeah, and also it just depends on things like weather and stuff like that as well, because if the lighting is bad or it's like really noisy wind or rain, that can be picked up on my mic. So yeah, and there's always the noise as well. I live very close to a school, so when the kids go in the morning, and for about 45 minutes before they get picked up and 15 minutes after, there can be a lot of noise. And yeah, I try not to get stuff like that on camera if I can help it, but sometimes it is unavoidable. I think I probably do need new double glazing, but can't afford that just now. And, you know, it's okay. It's just me that it annoys. Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. I'm one of those people who do, and I seem to be in the minority with that. But yeah, I really like steamed Brussels sprouts. I didn't always like them. I'm sure I hated them as a child, but I think most children hate them, and it's something that you either like or don't when you get older. So yeah, but I will happily eat Brussels sprouts. Although the worst burn I've ever had in my mouth came from a Brussels sprout. I mean, I've burned my mouth plenty of times on pizza. I think pretty much everyone who's eaten pizza has burned their mouth on pizza, and I'm sure you know how painful that is. But the Brussels sprout was worse, so much worse. It was like, of all the things to burn my mouth on, you know, couldn't be something interesting, but there we go. But I do find it funny because you see people buying Brussels sprouts, and you know that some of them don't want to eat them, but just because it's part of the traditional Christmas dinner, they almost feel obligated to buy them. I know I've been to a few Christmas dinners where people have bought sprouts and put them out, and it's like me and my mum are the only ones who've touched them. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm glad you bought them because I like them, but you really shouldn't have bought that many. I like them, but not enough to eat like 10 portions worth. That would be a little extreme. And I don't think anybody around me would enjoy it either. So yeah, best not to do that. I can't remember what I was talking about now before I was talking about Brussels sprouts. My favourite vegetable, excluding a mushroom, because I don't really think of mushrooms as a veg. They're a fungi. But anyway, broccoli. Love broccoli. Could easily eat an entire head of broccoli quite happily. Cooked, preferably steamed. Wouldn't eat it raw, but yeah. And I eat the whole thing. I eat the stalks as well. I just love it. But my mum got very lucky with me. I loved fruit and veg. It was meat that I wouldn't eat. Yeah. So I remember my brother loved meat and wasn't so keen on the veg. So very often he'd have my meat, I'd have his veg. We were both happy. And I guess the grown-ups were happy as well because the plates were empty. But yeah, my brother eats his veg now. So it all worked out okay. I feel like I'm just rambling about absolute nonsense tonight. And I've managed to ramble for 20 minutes. I think that might be a record for me. I don't know. I mean, I have had some videos when I've been editing that have been like an hour long, cut it down to 20 minutes. Often what out is just useless footage where I'm not saying anything, or maybe I've actually walked out because I don't always remember to turn the iPad off if I leave the room. And I frequently need to leave the room because I almost never remember a plate when I'm filming. You'd think after 3 years, I would remember that when I'm filming, I should have a plate because that will stop crumbs from going all over me and all over the carpet and whatever furniture I happen to be sitting on. But no, No, still forget. So yeah, there can be like 5 minutes where I've just gone to the kitchen to grab a plate, and then maybe I've got distracted by something. There's actually been a couple of times the doorbell has rung and I've had to go and see what it's about. And I'm pretty sure there was a time I had a full Asda delivery because I'd lost track of time. So yeah, stuff can happen. And I try to put my phone on silent when I'm filming, but I can forget. And yeah. I don't think there's going to be any more building noise tonight, which I'm quite glad about, because when I finish this live stream, there is every chance that I'm just going to go to bed. I had a late night last night and I woke up pretty early this morning. I'm a naturally early riser, so my body wants me to wake up between 7 and 8. But it also wants me to go to bed about 9 o'clock. Hey, I'm old, you know, I'm allowed to go to bed early with my crochet and a mug of tea if I want to. My 20 cats, no, I don't have any cats. Don't have any pets, unless you count Eddie, but yeah, no pets yet. But my neighbour has a house rabbit, and I know there are 3 cats, but 2 of them are in one flat, one's in another, and there's 1 dog. I don't think there's any more than that in the block now. There was a lovely cockapoo, but the owners moved out, and obviously the dog with him. So, but yeah, I really like dogs, and Cocker Spaniels I absolutely adore. Every time I walk past a Cocker Spaniel, I have to fight the urge to just pet it. Most people don't mind, and when I had my dogs, I didn't mind, but some people do mind, and I know that there was a huge increase in theft of dogs and stuff, and I don't want someone to think I'm trying to steal their dog, because that's like kidnapping a child. If you've got a pet, then you know. But talking of pets, I saw a video of 2 hamsters on a wheel, and I don't think I've laughed so hard in ages, because they were both running on it, but one was running faster than the other, and the one that keep up ended up sitting on the wheel, being spun round, and took off and flew off the wheel. But then it ran back in and jumped on and tried to run again, but it couldn't keep up, and then the one that was running ended up tripping over it. So yeah, I didn't know hamsters were quite so cutthroat, because the one that was running just kept on running, despite the fact that it's, I don't know, I was going to say cellmate, roommate, I don't know, housemate, cage mate, I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't at all concerned that this hamster had gone flying. It just kept on running. I have had hamsters in the past, and I remember once I had it in my bedroom and it was running on its wheel and I couldn't sleep, so I put the hamster cage out in the hall. 15 minutes later, my dad was knocking at my bedroom door because the hamster had woken him up with its running. So yeah, again, much younger when that happened. But hamsters, it's traumatic because they don't live long enough. And yeah, if I'm going to have a pet that I'm going to fall in love with, I want to have as many years with it as I can. With a hamster, you get 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky, or between 1 and 2. So yeah. But a dog, I think, is a Cocker Spaniel, let's be honest, is probably the only pet I'd consider now. Not a cat person. A lot of people don't seem to realise, but small animals like hamsters and rabbits, guinea pigs, fish are actually harder to look after in many ways than dogs. They have to be cleaned out, and you know, if you have to take them to the vet, it can be harder as well. I mean, have you ever seen a hamster with a leg brace? Hi, and thank you for dropping in. What kind of dog do you have? Make me jealous by telling me what kind of dog you have. There's a gorgeous golden retriever that gets walked around here, and a ferret. I've mentioned the ferret before, and I've actually had the ferret on this channel. Well, I make it sound like the ferret was a guest. The ferret was not a guest. I've never actually petted the ferret, although I have seen it in person. But I definitely filmed it from my window once when I saw it going for a walk, because it's such an unusual sight. It's the first ferret I think I've seen in Scotland, but I know people in Scotland have ferrets, just not people I know. I've never actually handled a ferret, I don't think. I don't know if I'd want to, because if they bite, that is really going to hurt. But some of them look so fluffy. And in the winter, you could just drape it around your neck like a scarf. I'm joking, I do not endorse anything like that. You should not wear your ferret as a fashion accessory. Not a euphemism. I am looking forward to the weekend, and I haven't got anything in particular planned, except that I'm going to spend time with Eddie, of course, and I am looking forward to that. I do have a D&D game on Sunday, and the new 2024 rules have just come out. So I'm going to have to try and at least get up to speed with some of them, because that group want to change to the new rules. The group are happy to stay with the old rules, so it's going to get quite confusing. And yeah, I don't really know what I think about the new rules. I think I would like to use them, but it would be easier to do it from the start of the game rather than trying to change partway through. But in all honesty, it's harder work for the players, because they are the ones who are going to have to go and change their character sheets. But I'm going off on a tangent again about Dungeons and Dragons. And I need to probably not do that, because this is supposed to be a food channel, but since I have gotten better, my life has got more expansive, and I have more things happening that I like to share with you guys. But I will always try to keep Sunday to being a food video. Yeah, and I do still like doing them. Tried a lot of stuff that I never would have tried before I met Eddie, mostly stuff that has nuts in or is chicken based. But yeah, not a fan of nuts, in case you didn't know, because I say it in practically every video, I think. I think it's the only thing I say more than moaning about the price of food at M&S is how much I hate nuts. But in the next M&S video I do, I'll try very hard not to mention the price, because yeah, the last one I did that too much. Thank you for dropping in, Andy, and for saying that. It means a lot that my videos can help people. If you are on Instagram, you can send me a DM, because I have unlisted videos, which I may make public in the future, but for the moment I like to keep them private for the moment, just in case family or neighbours come across my channel. There's maybe stuff I don't really want them to know about just now. I have a few friends in real life who are subscribed to my channel, but whether or not they watch, I'm not sure. The D&D rules were last updated in 2014. So it might be at least 10 years before it happens again. But normally what they do is they release a whole new edition and a new set of books. So there are people that will still play 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons, whereas the majority are playing the current. It's not the current edition anymore. The last edition, which was 5e. The new edition, I don't even know what they're calling it. They were calling it 1 D&D for a while, and then I think they were going to call it D&D 5.5 or something. I don't know what they call it. What they've done is basically kept a lot of the rules but made changes to some of them. And the idea is that you can play the 2014 rules with the 2024 rules, and they'll be backwards compatible, whereas with like 5e, if you transferred to 4e, it would be more of a difference. I believe I never played 4e, so I can't actually answer that, honestly. And I think getting back onto the topic of Dungeons and Dragons, this might be a good place to end the stream, because I have been waffling for half an hour now, and you guys that have stuck around, thank you. I do appreciate it. Please give the video a thumbs up, because I can see it says 0. So if you're still watching this, then I hope it's because you like it. I'll just answer that question that I've just been asked. With D&D, there are basic rules to follow, but the rules are kind of guidelines. Some people will rigidly stick to them. The majority, I think, are flexible. You can make stuff up, or you can mostly use stuff that other people have made up. There are published modules that you can play. I tend to make stuff up mostly from scratch, even the monsters and stuff, just because my games, I call myself Chaos Mistress because my games are chaotic. But yeah, there are lots of different ways to play, but they're hoping that the new rules will be more beginner friendly. So I've only been playing for, I think, 2 years and running games for maybe a year and a half now. So I don't have a lot of experience, but I just wanted to try running it. So I thought, you know what, I'll find some friends that I can coerce into joining me, and I'll just go for it. We're still playing, so I must be doing something right. Either that, or they really, really don't want to let me down. But anyway, guys, I'm going to say good night, and I hope everyone will have the best weekend possible. And yeah, I hope to see you back for the next live stream. And if you're watching this on if you're watching this on the replay, I hope you can make the next live stream, whenever that may be. I will post a notification on here when the next one is happening. But take care, guys. Bye.